The warning does not fall from the sky with trumpets. It begins with a burn, an unbearable tension behind your eye sockets. Your eyes are telling you that something is wrong with the scenery you have under your nose. It's that exact moment when you're staring at a mundane scene, a street, an office, a familiar face, and your eyes send you a massive error signal. They detect an anomaly, a flaw, in the normality that your education and your logic are trying to smooth out at all costs. The angels do not use words. They saturate your vision to force you to notice that the frame is faked. Your eyes have become biological lie detectors. You catch yourself staring at insignificant details, the trembling of an eyelid at your interlocutor, a shadow that does not follow the light, a reflection in the mirror that seems to be half a second behind your movements. It's a survival alert. We are sending you this message because you are staring the danger in the face without recognizing it. We force you to see beyond the social veneer, to pierce the surface of appearances to capture the predator or the illusion before it's too late. Your vision becomes your first bulwark. This visual hypersensitivity is a warning about your own waking state. If your eyes hurt, if they sting you, or if they refuse to fix, it's because we're trying to wake you up. We warn you that your gaze has been fixed on trifles for too long, making you blind to the real issues that are being played out in the shadows. The alert is clear. Your eyes are the gateway to your soul, and if you are not careful about what you let in through this channel, you will let yourself be poisoned by what you look at. It's time to stop looking and finally start observing. The alert takes a new step. It attacks the certainty of your identity. The angels use the reflective surfaces as reminder screens. Until now, when you passed in front of a mirror, a shop window, or even the black screen of your phone, you would see a familiar, reassuring image, the one you have built over the years. But today, the reflection no longer sticks. The alert takes a new step. It attacks the certainty of your identity. The angels use the reflective surfaces as reminder screens. Until now, when you passed in front of a mirror, a shop window, or even the black screen of your phone, you would see a familiar, reassuring image, the one you have built over the years. But today, the reflection no longer sticks. Your eyes send you a distress signal. There is a shift of a split second, an expression in your own gaze that you did not control, a shadow behind your pupils that does not belong to you. This is where the warning becomes surgical. We show you that your gaze is polluted, that it bears the stigmas of everything that you have accepted to look at without a filter. This chapter of your transformation is that of cognitive dissonance. Your brain, this organ of logic, is trying to correct the image. He whispers to you that it's fatigue, bad lighting, or simply you. This chapter of your transformation is that of cognitive dissonance. Your brain, this organ of logic, is trying to correct the image. He whispers to you that it's fatigue, bad lighting, or simply your imagination playing tricks on you. But your eyes don't lie. They fix this anomaly with an insistence that freezes your blood. The sentinels shout to you, through this reflection, that you are losing yourself in what you are observing. By dint of staring at other people's screens, vanities, and masks, your own gaze began to absorb the grayness of the outside world. The reflection you see is no longer yours. It is that of a stranger who has left the windows of his soul wide open to toxic air currents. This is a warning against invasion. Your eyes are the doors of your inner temple, and the reflection shows you that the lock has popped. We alert you to the fact that what you are looking at ends up looking back at you, and, even worse, settling in you. Every violent image, every false advertisement, every look of hatred that you let in through your eyes left a trace, a stain on your vision. The angel alert this is a warning against invasion. Your eyes are the doors of your inner temple, and the reflection shows you that the lock has popped. We alert you to the fact that what you are looking at ends up looking back at you, and, even worse, settling in you. Every violent image, every false advertisement, every look of hatred that you let in through your eyes left a trace, a stain on your vision. The angel alert is an invitation to a radical cleansing. It's time to turn your eyes away from the world to finally look at what's left of you in the mirror. If you ignore this discrepancy in your reflection, if you continue to believe that what you see is normal, you will end up becoming the empty image that the world wants you to be. The battle for your conscience begins with the reconquest of your own wards. The alert changes its nature. It is no longer just a visual anomaly. It becomes a physical pain, an unbearable pressure that seems to accumulate in your eye sockets. The angels are no longer content to show you signs. The alert changes its nature. It is no longer just a visual anomaly. It becomes a physical pain, an unbearable pressure that seems to accumulate in your eye sockets. The angels are no longer content to show you signs. They force your eyes to react to the density of the invisible. You feel this characteristic burning, as if you had stared at the sun for too long, while you are in the dark. It is the signal that you are approaching a truth that your eyes were not supposed to see. This heaviness behind your eyelids is a sensory alarm. We warn you that the space around you is not empty. It is saturated with presences, energies, and currents that your physical eyes are desperately trying to decode, creating an overheating of your nervous system. Every time you enter a room where the tension is palpable, or you face a person whose intentions are toxic, your eyes start to tear or burn. It's not an allergy. It's a defense reaction of your soul transmitted through your tear ducts. Every time you enter a room where the tension is palpable, or you face a person whose intentions are toxic, your eyes start to tear or burn. It's not an allergy. It's a defense reaction of your soul transmitted through your tear ducts. The sentinels use this pain to force you to close your eyes, to push you into inner withdrawal. We're alerting you to the fact that the external vision has become a trap. The more you try to see with your eyeballs, the more you get tired and the more you will get lost. The burn is there to remind you that the truth is not visible, it is felt. We're asking you to stop looking for visual evidence and start trusting that tingle, that pressure that tells you exactly when to back off or when to be wary. It is a test of optical endurance. You find yourself rubbing your eyes, looking for a clarity that seems to escape you, while the message is the opposite. The darkness that you feel is a protection. The angels warn you that IIT is a test of optical endurance. You find yourself rubbing your eyes, looking for a clarity that seems to escape you, while the message is the opposite. The darkness that you feel is a protection. The angels warn you that if you continue to want to observe everything through the prism of matter, you will end up burning your discernment. This feeling of sand under the eyelids is there to slow you down, to force you to contemplate rather than consume images. We warn you that the world is becoming too bright, too aggressive in its staging, and that your eyes are your most vulnerable sensors. By ignoring this weight behind your eye sockets, you risk letting your gaze become petrified in the face of a fake reality. Learn to listen to the pain in your eyes. It is the compass that tells you where the lie is hidden even before it manifests itself. Look around and ask yourself why, suddenly, the red of a simple traffic sign seems to be bleeding, or why the gray of the concrete seems to you almost metallic hostility. It is not your vision that falters. It is the spectrum of your reality that is fragmenting. The color frequencies are the first. The world is trying to shout something at you through its light. When a room suddenly seems to you immersed in a sepia hue, or that the natural light takes an artificial, almost cinematic turn, it is because you have entered a zone of distortion. Your optic nerve receives an overload of information because we are trying to point out what is wrong in your environment. The colors are no longer used to decorate. They are used to label the danger. A too bright green in a park can become the sign of an invisible corruption, while a too dense shadow in a corner of your room indicates to you a point of energy leakage. Your eyes no longer just translate wavelengths. They translate moods and imminent threats. Ignore this metamorphosis of colors, and you will walk blind in a minefield. We force you to notice the artifice of the decor. If the colors drool, or if the contrast suddenly becomes too violent, it is to prevent you from falling into the hypnosis of everyday life. We alert you to the fact that the light you receive is not always pure. Some frequencies are designed to put you to sleep, others to irritate you. By changing your perception of shades, we offer you a universal decoder. You have to learn to read this new palette. The world is no longer a static painting. It is a flow of colored signals that tell you exactly where to put your feet and, above all, who not to look in the eye. Color is the mute cry of those who protect you. There is a form of terror that is not born of chaos, but of too perfect symmetry. You walk down a familiar street. You enter your living room. You look at the face of a loved one, and suddenly, a silent alarm signal goes off in your gaze. It's the theater set effect. Everything seems in its place, but your eyes tell you that it's a staging. The angels are sending you this dizziness to warn you that normality is the most effective anesthesia in the world. The most reassuring thing you see, this smooth and predictable daily life, is the ideal cover for what is being hatched in your blind spot. If your eyes are fixed on an insignificant detail, such as the texture of a wall or the nervous tick of a passerby, it is to break the hypnosis of the banality that tries to lull you to sleep. This visual alert is a coherence scanner. When you feel that the image in front of you is too good to be true, or that the light of a banal afternoon suddenly seems artificial to you, as if it came from a projector, don't ignore it. Your gaze captures the seams of reality. We show you that the world that you accept without asking questions is a fragile construction, a mirage intended to keep your attention away from the crucial issues. The centuries force you to see the cracks in the varnish. It's not paranoia, it's frequency detection. Your environment has changed its vibration, but it keeps the same appearance so as not to frighten you. Your eyes are the only ones that don't let the habit fool them. The trap of normality is to believe that because nothing has changed visually, nothing has changed spiritually. This is the most urgent message that we are trying to convey to you through your wards. We alert you to the fact that the most toxic danger often wears the mask of benevolence or comfort. If you just look at the polished surface of your life, you're going to miss the shadow that glides just below. Learn to be wary of what doesn't bother you. Your eyes must become piercing tools, capable of passing through the superficial layer of everything is fine to probe the emptiness or the presence that hides behind it. Normality is just a curtain of smoke. Your eyes are the scissors that must cut it so that you can finally see the real scene that is playing out behind the scenes of your existence. Imagine that your eyes are projectors of light, but that instead of illuminating the path in front of you, you have turned them back towards the ruins of what has been. The sentinels send you a black screen type alert. This feeling of emptiness, this gray veil that seems to fall on your sight while you are in broad daylight. It's not a physiological problem. It's a voluntary disconnection from your guides. We warn you that if you continue to use your wards on the ghosts of your regrets, on the faces of those who betrayed you, or on the images of your past failures, you will eventually become blind to the present. Your eyes cannot process two realities at the same time. By choosing to fix the shadow, you turn off the light that was intended for you today. This blindness begins with a loss of relief. The world around you seems dull, tasteless, almost two-dimensional to you. It's a sign that your visual energy is being siphoned off by the past. The angels try to shake you by causing flashes or spots of light in your field of vision, kind of flashes intended to divert your attention from your old memories. We alert you to a fundamental law of perception. What you insistently look at ends up becoming your only reality. If you feed your eyes with bitter nostalgia, your future will become a landscape of ashes. Spiritual blindness is a form of ocular suicide where we prefer the familiar darkness of yesterday to the unpredictable brilliance of now. The stake of this warning is the survival of your discernment. A look turned backwards is a look that does not see the precipice that opens up under its feet. We warn you that your guidance is getting confused. The signs that the angels place on your way, symbols, numbers, messages on posters, chance encounters, become invisible to you because your eyes are cluttered with the dust of the past. It's time to perform eye surgery. Cut the optical links with what is dead. Your eyes were designed for discovery, not for perpetual mourning. By freeing your gaze from the ancient shadows, you will allow your vision to regain its primary function, to be the radar of your soul to navigate in the unknown with absolute precision. The most critical moment is in that gray area between sleep and mindfulness, when you stand in front of the bathroom mirror before the social mask is adjusted. The sentinels choose this moment of vulnerability to force an encounter. You immerse your gaze in your own pupils, and, for the first time, you have the impression of looking at a stranger. It's not your facial features that alert you, but the depth of your iris. You see in it a tiredness that has nothing to do with lack of sleep, a kind of veil of sadness or a glimmer of worry that you try to deny the rest of the day. Your eyes are crying out to you a truth about your inner state that your mind still refuses to formulate in words. You are betraying your own nature. This morning vision is a diagnosis without complacency. The angels use your own eyes as open windows on your subconscious. You may notice that your gaze has lost its brightness, that it seems to have retracted, as if it was trying to hide deep in your eye sockets. It is the alarm signal of a soul that feels cramped or threatened. You are alerted to the fact that you are telling a lie, that you are playing a role that no longer corresponds to you, and that this dissonance is draining your vital force. Your eyes are the only place where you can't lie to yourself. They reflect with surgical precision the distance that exists between the one you pretend to be and the one you really are in silence. The urgency of this warning lies in the loss of connection. If you avoid meeting your own gaze in the mirror, or if you can't stand staring at your eyes for more than a few seconds, it's because the alert has reached a breaking point. We warn you that you are becoming a stranger to yourself. The sentinels are begging you to face this truth. What is hidden behind your wards needs your immediate attention. This mirror of the soul is not there to judge you, but to remind you of the existence of your authentic self, which suffocates under compromises. By accepting to see what your eyes tell you when you wake up, you break the illusion and begin the process of realignment. Your eyes are the guardians of your truth. Listen to them before they are completely extinguished. There comes a time when the visual saturation becomes such that your eyes can no longer absorb anything without exploding. This is where this strange phenomenon occurs. Your eyes start crying for no apparent reason, without identified sadness, without precise human emotion. These are not your tears. These are the crystal tears of those who are watching over you. The sentinels use your own body to evacuate the slags, dust, and energetic impurities that you have accumulated by looking at the world too intensely. These tears are a warning of overheating. We warn you that your internal filter is full. You've seen too many lies, too much disguised ugliness, too many empty images, and your visual system needs an emergency reset. This purification by the liquid is an alert on the hardness of your heart. By dint of protecting yourself from what you see, you have ended up petrifying your gaze, making it cold and analytical like a glass lens. The crystal tears come to break this crust of ice, to return to your eyes their original vulnerability. We alert you to the fact that a look that no longer knows how to cry is a look that no longer knows how to see the essential. Every drop that runs down your cheek carries with it a distorted vision, a prejudice, or a fear that had lodged in your eye tissues. This is a water surgery. The angels are begging you to let this flow, because every tear shed is an extra pixel of clarity that you get back on your own reality. Ignore this need to cry, and you will end up seeing the world through a dirty and blurred glass. We warn you about the danger of dry vision, the one who judges without understanding and who observes without feeling. If you feel this sudden moisture in your eyes in the middle of a crowd or in front of a sunset, don't wipe it off out of modesty. It's a sign that your guides are washing your windows. They prepare you for a higher, finer vision, which you will only be able to bear if your gaze is perfectly pure. The crystal tears are the price of the new vision. They are the proof that you accept to let go of your old certainties, to let the divine light circulate again without obstacle. Your eyes are never more powerful than when they are washed by that sacred sadness that precedes the great enlightenment. The warning takes on an unprecedented spatial and temporal dimension. You begin to see scenes that do not take place in front of you. It is the awakening of the third gaze, that center of perception located beyond the retina, which the sentinels activate urgently to get you out of your three-dimensional prison. You feel a pulsation, an electric heat between your eyebrows, as if a new eye was trying to pierce the skin. The angels alert you to the fact that your two classic eyes are no longer enough to decode the complexity of the approaching danger. They warn you that relying only on what is physically present is a fatal mistake. You are forced to perceive the echoes of the future and the shadows of the past that are superimposed on your immediate present. This expansion of sight is a shock to your nervous system. You can suddenly visualize with absolute clarity a conversation taking place at the other end of the city, or feel the imminence of an event before it manifests itself in the material. It's not a free gift for your entertainment, it's a navigation alarm. We send you these flash images to show you the consequences of your current trajectories. If your third gaze opens with such intensity, it is because your life path is strewn with interferences that only a multidimensional vision can bypass. The sentinels are shouting at you that time is an illusion and that your fleshly eyes are lying to you by making you believe that you are limited to the here and now. The risk of this third look is uprooting. By dint of seeing elsewhere and further away, you could lose contact with the ground under your feet. This is where the alert becomes a disciplinary advice. We warn you that you must learn to master this vision without letting yourself be consumed by it. If you ignore the signals of this inner gaze, if you refuse to believe in the images that impose themselves on you with your eyes closed, you will remain an easy prey for the forces that operate in the blind spots of human reality. The angels warn you that the war is won first in the subtle plane. Your third gaze is your periscope in an ocean of hostile frequencies. Learn to trust this vision without images, because it is the only one that cannot be hacked by the appearances of the material world. The world around you is not as solid as it seems, and the celestial sentinels use the reflective surfaces to break the illusion of your safety. You start to notice that the reflections in store windows, on the surface of a puddle of water, or even in the chrome of a car, are not simple passive copies of reality. Your eyes catch movements in these improvised mirrors that do not exist in the real world. A silhouette passing in the reflection of a glass window while the street is deserted, or an expression on your own face in a puddle of water that seems to shout a warning to you while you remain marble. It is not your imagination that is wavering. It is the alert of reflections that is activated. We warn you that the truth is often hidden in what we consider secondary details or optical distortions. This phase of your visual awakening is designed to make you aware of the duality of each situation. The angels show you that each event has a hidden side, a backside of the decor that only the reflection can reveal. When you look at a person and his reflection in a glass behind him seems dark, arched, or threatening, don't make the mistake of believing your flesh eyes that only see his polite smile. The reflection is the decoder of the soul. We're alerting you to the fact that you've been too gullible, too attached to the flat surface of things. The reflective surfaces are the flaws of the system, the places where the reality code chatters and reveals the real intentions of the forces that surround you. Your eyes are now programmed to look for the anomaly in the mirror, because that's where the predator or the guide shows himself without his material disguise. The stakes of this alert are of absolute gravity. If you ignore these peripheral visual messages, you will remain an easy target. We warn you that danger never comes from the front, but through blind spots and distortions. Reflections are emergency windows that the angels open for you, so that you can see what is sneaking behind your back. You have to learn not to just look anymore, but to watch for reflections like a lookout. The world is a gallery of mirrors where each burst of light can contain a last-minute instruction or warning. If a pane of glass seems to vibrate, or if a reflection suddenly seems too sharp to you, almost more real than the original scene, stop. This is the signal that you are about to cross a red line. Your eyes are your sentinels, and the reflections are their intelligence reports. Never treat them as mere optical illusions again, because they are the only reality that matters when the shadow decides to manifest itself. Lucidity is not a gift. It is a slow erosion of your psychic resistance, and the angels are sending you a nervous saturation alert today. You feel a fatigue that is unlike anything known, a heaviness that seems to weigh directly on your eyeballs, as if each image you capture now weighs several tons. Until now, your brain had natural filters, psychological barriers that allowed you to ignore the ugliness, the lies, and the ambient suffering to focus on your own survival. But these filters were torn off by force. Your eyes are now doomed to permanent high definition. You see the pores of the skin, but also the pores of the soul. You perceive the slightest micro-expression of hatred behind a compliment, the slightest crack of despair in a forced laugh. This integral vision is a burden that your fleshly eyes have never been programmed to carry over time. This stage of the celestial warning is that of sensory isolation. You catch yourself looking for the dark, closing the curtains, wearing dark glasses even in gray weather, not out of coquetry, but out of pure survival reflex. The sentinels warn you that your system is on the verge of breaking down. By dint of seeing the real structure of the world, its energy currents, its karma nodes, and its areas of darkness, you are consuming your own vital reserves. We're warning you that total lucidity is an acid that eats away at the comfort of ignorance. You can no longer go to the supermarket, walk in a crowd, or watch the news without being assailed by a storm of visual data invisible to others. Your gaze has become an overly powerful scanner that ends up burning the paper it is trying to read. The ultimate risk of this chapter is the transition to nihilism or mental collapse. If you ignore this fatigue, if you persist in wanting to keep your eyes wide open to the horror or complexity of the world without taking time off, you will end up turning off your own inner light. We're sending you this exhaustion signal to tell you to dose your vision. The angels warn you that seeing the truth requires colossal strength of character, because it means giving up the safety of the flock that walks with its eyes closed. You have become a watchman, but a watchman who never sleeps ends up hallucinating his own loss. Learn to give your gaze a vacation, to fix the void or the wild nature to reset your sensors. Lucidity is a double-edged sword. It allows you to see the trap, but it can also make you crazy with pain in front of the immensity of what remains to be transformed. Your eyes are your most precious tools. Don't let them break under the weight of a reality that you are not yet supposed to carry alone. The danger has changed sides. Until now, you were pushed to be vigilant, but the angels are now sending you an alert of extreme vulnerability. Your eyes, by becoming ultra-sensitive windows, have become entry points for everything that lurks in the dark. In this world saturated with predatory images and looks loaded with venom, your openness has become your greatest weakness. We warn you that certain frequencies do not seek to be seen. They seek to be absorbed by your gaze in order to take root in your mind. The sentinels are shouting at you to lower your eyelids. They teach you that the real power no longer lies in the ability to observe everything, but in the discipline of knowing when to go blind. Closing your eyes is no longer an act of flight. It is an act of war, a fortification of your inner sanctuary in the face of a visual invasion that does not say its name. This phase of your learning is that of selective discernment. You start to feel an instinctive repulsion for certain screens, certain faces, or certain artificial lights that seem to want to suck your attention. This is the signal that someone is trying to hack your optical channel. The angels alert you. Every time you set your eyes on gratuitous ugliness, on staged violence, or on spiritual emptiness, you let a part of your soul be vampirized. We ask you to practice visual asceticism. You must learn to look away with surgical speed, not out of fear, but out of respect for your own clarity. Your gaze is an invaluable bargaining chip in the subtle worlds, and the dark forces know it. They create mirages and visual polemics only to force you to look and, thus, establish a direct bridge to your consciousness.